around us. We are not known for our temple. We are not known for our seva, because there are other organizations that specialize in that. What is our specialization? The Hindu Vedantic studies. We are knowledge-based in our approach. So therefore, Chit becomes a platform of knowledge and platform of learning. Now the second part, Maya. Please don't mispronounce it and say Maya, because that will negate whatever we just talked about. Maya means delusion, this veiling, this illusion, unrealness. Hey, we're not saying knowledge is unreal, definitely not. The pronunciation is Maya. So Maya means that which is pervasive, that which in and through is percolating through that particular substance. So if Paramatma is principle of consciousness itself, it is nothing but Chit. It is pervasive. Then when it comes to knowledge, the way to navigate life and this universe cannot be done without knowledge. Even Brahmaji, before he created this entire Brahmanda, what did he do? He said, Bhagwan, this is all darkness. I don't know what to do. Give me knowledge first. So he invoked Bhagwan Vishnu and did meditation and nididhyasana and received knowledge of this entire universe, and then he started creating. Swamiji used to joke around that is why he is Ishvara. First, Jnana Shakti, then Icha Shakti, then Kriya Shakti. First we have the knowledge, then we desire, then we do. What do humans beings do? We do it all the other way around. We do Kriya Shakti first, then Icha Shakti, then Jnana Shakti. We do something, then we desire that we don't have that result, and we say, how do I fix this? So even Bhagwan Brahmaji needed knowledge first. So that is why we always put knowledge as the, the very first thing we put before anything else is done. Then Maya, in terms of what we do here, knowledge of not just this universe or secular knowledge, but what is that which pervades me? Do I have knowledge about who I am, and therefore the knowledge of how I should relate to the world around? Let that knowledge flow through me. So that is that feeling of pervasiveness also. So Chinmaya, this is all that is built within that one particular word. Now, Swamiji had a very, very funny analogy that I thought I should share here. Pervasiveness is like coffee. Huh? Pervasiveness is like coffee. Have you had South Indian decoction coffee? I'm hearing already. That you need to let the water flow through that coffee ground, let it sit and simmer and soak in all of that, and it becomes concentrated at the end. Then when you have that, and that too, the cup is only this big. You're not going to get a venti size. You're going to get a tiny little cup, but that will run you the whole day. Why? Because it is pervaded by that decoction. Now, of course, Swamiji has to make fun of the other regions in India as well. Nobody gets spared. He says if you go to Gujarat, what do they say is the coffee like? Kadak chammach? Or did I say that right? Kada chammach. Meaning they put so much sugar. They're such a sweet people, right? They put so much sugar in their coffee, you can stick a spoon in there and it'll stand up. So it is pervaded by sugar, sweetness. Now, of course, we go to the other side of the country, in Punjab. What are their coffees like? There they have the venti size, nothing less than venti. And it is full of doodh, milk. Oh, that's the best kind of milk too. Even I'm still like, it's on my bucket list to find that proper milk straight from a Punjabi farm cow. The one where when you like stream it, it like froths on its own. Ugh. So what is that pervaded by? How many of you missed coffee this morning? So what is it pervaded by? Milk, right? So it's the essence and flavor and joy of what that thing is because of what it's pervaded by. So in the same way, for us to grow, may we become pervaded by that knowledge. That knowledge gives the joy of being. So with that in mind, next thing is, Let's take a look at Puja Gurudev's journey into this knowledge as well. Puja Gurudev, as we know, was born in 1916 in Kerala, and he was the best student, or the top tier of the people around him, because he went to Lucknow University and got a degree in both law and journalism. At that time, 1916, how many years before independence? It's like 30 years? 35 years before independence, for someone to go to college and get double degree, that too in law and journalism, it's quite a big feat. So as I've heard before, he's the creme de la creme of the Indian populace at that time, Bharatiyas, right? And after he fought for freedom, while he was working in journalism, one question came to him saying that there's a wave of news happening during that time, that there's this brand new Swami that has started a hospital. Now, this Swami was very successful and made quite a big splash in his achievements, both materialistically and in the service that he provided. And yet, he quit his practice as a doctor and started an ashrama to help serve others. So he took sannyasi diksha after successfully completing his doctorate success. So Puja Gurudev thought something must be up here. There's some funda going on. Why would he quit a successful practice? If he started an ashram, then maybe he's making more money than before. Maybe that's what drew him to take sannyasa. These sannyasis, I don't know what they do. They seem like they're beggars, but they're everywhere. Why do people take sannyasa? I'm going to unravel all of this. And with this intention and gung-ho, he went into which organization? Divine Life Society, run by Swami Shivanandaji Maharaj. So Swami Shivanandaji was that doctor who quit his practice and became a sannyasi. So he came barging into that door and said, show me your books. Start with the financial books, please. And if anybody came knocking on your door like this, what would you say? Who the heck are you? Why should I show you all that? No. Swami Shivanandaji said, please walk right through our doors. And he took him straight to the office and told the clerk, for the last 5 to 6 years, our financial books, give this to this person here. He wants to look into it. And if you find anything older, please give that too. And then he told Puja Gurudev at that time, if you find anything missing, please come tell me, because I need to fix this. I mean, what would it be like for someone to open their doors that wide when you come in trying to find that sabotage? So he spent almost weeks. This was supposed to be a 3-week project at most, I think. But he ended up spending 4 months because not a single dime was out of place. He found nothing wrong with this organization. Then he started to ask that why did he take sannyasa? Why did he give up such an important practice? What is there that he was drawn to? Then so in between that question was still muddling in his head. And one day, Swami Shivanandaji Maharaj said, there was I think a gathering going on. He said, okay, speak for 2 minutes. You're a journalist. Let's hear something profound. In 2 minutes, tell us something. He was thrown off guard. He was like, what do I say? I've just been looking at your books. I'm not going to talk about. He's like, just tell us where your journey is. Okay, in 4 sentences, he said, I came from Lucknow, came to Andhra through train and bus, and this is how I got here. And Swami Shivanandaji Maharaj said, I'm a little disappointed. I thought you were a journalist. I thought you have something profound to say. And he said, okay, if nothing else, I will give you a topic. Tomorrow you come and you speak on this particular topic. And what was the first thing he was asked to study? What is Shreyas versus Preyas? This was the first topic that Puja Gurudev took up. And so he was shown to the library. He was shown all the appropriate books that have where mentions of Shreyas and Preyas come up. And he said, study and you speak on that. He did a wonderful job the next day. But he was more floored by the end of that speech. He felt, why is it that someone who has gone to college, who is supposed to be the most knowledgeable elite scholars of society at that time, don't have access to this kind of knowledge? Shreyas and praise is in our self-unfoldment book in Chinmay Mission. Shreyas and praise comes up in chapter 1 and chapter 2. The most rudimentary concepts of Vedanta starts with Shreyas and praise. How come none of us Bharatiyas know about this? Of course, when somebody goes researching in a library for one topic, do you end up reading only about that topic? Of course not. You start pulling a thread and the whole tapestry unravels in front of you. He was able to see the depth of knowledge that was there for anyone to take up. All they had to do was pull that string. And yet he was wondering, why is it that not a single Bharatiya has access to this in such a profound way? We read about science, we read about math, we've learned law, we learn all of this, but what about all this knowledge? Why is it locked up in these libraries? Why is it locked up in the Himalayas? Why is it locked up out of our access? And again, remember, this is when freedom fight was happening and independence was about to be gained. He knew that in order for Bharat to sustain itself, it needs a solid foundation of philosophy it has to stand upon. Because if you think any country, why are the laws built the way it is? Why is it the cultural values we have are, the behavior of people are in a certain manner? They're built off of philosophy. Democracy, capitalism, whatever may be the arena, we see it articulate through our actions and our interaction and the laws that we abide. If we're about to have freedom and we can now dictate our own country in terms of the constitution we have and the cultural and societal rules we follow, then we need something solid to stand on to make these. And he had now just unraveled that tapestry and said, why not? This is what Bharat needs from this standpoint. So, from that inspired thought, he himself took sannyasa, and Swami Shivanandaji saw that he had that potential to grow, and therefore, and his tenacity for knowledge was there. So seeing that, he received the name from Swami Shivanandaji as Swami Chinmayananda. After having taken Diksha, he was directed to go up to his guru now, his Shiksha guru, Swami Tapovan Maharajji in the Himalayas. And, I think we've spoken on this before, that Swami Tapovan Maharajji is not an easy teacher. He's not going to cut any corners. He will take the single weaknesses you have within you and rip it apart so that you become the best version of yourself. But we got to be ready for that pain, growth pains. And so we saw before that Shishya has to be awake before the Guru. Shishya can only go to sleep after the Guru. Why? Because the bhava is, I want to be available 100% anytime the Guru feels gracious enough to give knowledge. Not like in school, do I have to go to school? Do I have to go to class? Teacher? And we see the students rebelling, and even I would include disrespecting teachers, right? Why should I learn from you? That arrogance gets dropped. So with this, slowly and steadily, Pujya Gurudev learnt the Shastras from beginning to end, and especially the Upanishads. In fact, I had read somewhere that Swami Tapovan Maharajji didn't teach Gita directly. He didn't teach Gita. He was taught all of the Upanishads. It was later when Pujya Gurudev decided to share that knowledge full force out of the Himalayas on his own in English. He took Gita as the mantle or that flag to bring this knowledge forward. Because Gita has all of that Upanishadic knowledge inbuilt into it. So, this was the bhava in which Pujya Gurudev came to us. And now, when it comes to the Guru Stotram itself, let's first start, instead of going directly into the verses itself, let's first start with Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. When we think Guru first, in that phrase, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai means to that, onto that one. So it's a, what do you call it? It, they, she, he, pronouns, thank you. I don't know why my English grammar is going out of my head. Tasmai Shri, Tasmai means upon him. Who is that him? Gurave. To that Guru, Namaha. I surrender. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri also exalts that Guru. It is not just any ordinary Guru. It is that Guru that gives that highest knowledge. Shri Guru Namaha. So, Guru. Usually it's translated in two separate words. Gu and Ru. The one who removes the darkness of ignorance is that Guru. And ignorance not just of any old knowledge, it is that highest knowledge itself. The one who removes that. And we had seen in Sadhana Panchakam when we were talking about bhakti, Drida Bhakti or Guru Padaka. We do seva to Guru Padaka. We saw meanings of this. I'm just recollecting from there again. And the importance of removing that knowledge is also reflected when we chant Om Asatoma Sat Gamaya. Asat, the one that is untruth. Asatoma Sat Gamayaha. May I take that knowledge and remove this ignorance. And it's followed up exactly with that darkness light analogy one more time. Asatoma Sat Gamayaha. Tamasoma Jyotir Gamayaha. So that symbol of lamp becomes very important in Hinduism because it is representing that removal of darkness, of ignorance. Now, with some of our chicks, we have to joke around and we say, can you remove ignorance in any other method? Can you remove ignorance or darkness by vacuuming it out, dusting it out, shooing it out? Nothing works. Knowledge alone is the remedy to ignorance. So in the same way, when it comes to reaching that ananda, there is no other method than knowledge itself. Now, this is important implication because there is this, as Swamiji used to say, a soundbite we're addicted to. What is the soundbite we get veered off the path about? All path leads to the same destination. Oh, it's like different routes on a mountain. You still end up reaching the same peak. All margas, all yogas lead to the same destination. You can do karma yoga and become a realized master. You can do bhakti yoga and become realized. You can use yoga, the Patanjali Sutra yogas, the 8 Ashtanga yoga, and reach that realization. We would say no. Knowledge alone is the gateway to realizing the self because our state right now is we're ignorant of the self. I cannot use actions to produce the self. I cannot use bhakti to believe in the self. I cannot do, different poses to create that self. Sorry, it's just a joke. Meaning that all other steps, we're not denying or diminishing. We're saying that those are only preparatory steps to make us qualified to become available for that knowledge. So let us please not get distracted or change our understanding of the importance of knowledge. Knowledge alone will resolve this. Jnanam eva tu kaivalyam. It is through knowledge alone that we can reach that kaivalya. No other way. This is why, again, knowledge becomes important. This is, again, why guru becomes important. So that is guru. Then namaha. When it comes to namaha, we have to understand Sanskritam a little bit here. Because something very special is going on with this particular word, namaha. In Sanskritam, it is, first of all, the word Sanskritam means that which is well done. Samkritaha. And why is it known as something that is well done? Because from one level, the organization of the language itself is very well done. Why? Because there's absolutely no redundancies in the way it's categorized. So if you how many of you speak an Indian language where you had to learn e in some form or the other? Almost everyone here, right? So if we study that categorization, there's not a single sound that is repetitive. There's no sound, and you're like, wait, excuse me. What about sh, sa? What is it? Sh, sa, ha. How about that one? Or k, g. You say it twice. So what do you mean it's redundant? Nuh-uh. Even then, there are subtleties and differences. K, it's a mahaprana. And cha and cha. Mahaprana, alpaprana, there's still differences. Sh and sh, One starts from here, like the ocean sound. If you're in a yoga class, they'll tell you this. Make the ocean sounds with the volume of your sh. They're saying sh here. Then sh comes from the tip of your mouth, near the teeth. And if you look at each varga, vargas are the lines where it categorizes the sound together. Ka, ka, ga, ga, nga. Where does that sound come from? Which part of your mouth would it come from? Here. Ka, ka, ga, ga, nga. Your entire mouth up here stays the same, but the voice comes from here. Then the last line, pa, pa, ba, ba, ma. Where do you need it? Lips. So of course, Swamiji used to joke around. I dare all of you, I'll give anybody $100. If they're able to say this varga without their two lips touching. So you're trying, I found I tried this in the car yesterday. Actually, you can use your hand. Meaning, they're very well organized. They've paid attention to the evolution of sound. And when we saw Om is made from u, ma. U, ma. What's the first letter? What's the last letter in the sets of varga? Ma, pa, pa, ba, ba, ma. Very well done. Now, in order to understand Sanskritam, there's one more layer. It's actually not that hard of a language. It's so arithmetic and mathematical that once you catch the rules, it's very simple. There are root words, and there's only 2,200 root words. That's easy? Hey, think about English or French or German. How many words do you need to learn? There's a full dictionary. None of them are related to each other. Here, we only say 2,200 words. If you can understand these roots, you've understood every word that can occur in Sanskritam. Of course, that's easy. Then, the other thing is, any word can be interchanged with each other and it won't change the meaning. In English, that's not the case. Rama killed Ravana. Change the order of that. Ravana killed Rama. We don't have Ramayana anymore. So we have to be very diligent in how we phrase things. In Sanskritam, can I do that? That's also easy. Hanti, to kill. Rama hanti Ravana. Ramaha hanti Ravana. Sorry, almost changed that around. Now, if I can switch it around too. Ravana hanti Ramaha. Because of the conjugations in between, the relationships never change. So now that gives flexibility to poets that are writing. They can put whatever words in whichever position, and it can fit the meter. So Sanskritam is very easy.
So how would you say the opposite?
Ravanaha hanti Ramam. So the ending of those words change. And you know that giant chart called declensions? The one we have to memorize in like the second day of Sanskritam? That's what it's for. In Ramaha as the subject, Ramam as the object, Rame as in Rama, to Rama, for Rama, with Rama. So that whole declension, first of all, single, dual, and plural. Don't worry, I've had trauma from the Vedanta course. I had to learn all of this. So like that, because of that conjugation and declension, you can change it however you want and you're good. Now, why is this important? Because we have to remember Sanskritam that is so well done will be very efficient in why and how it uses words. So now I'm bringing it back to the word namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namaha in its full expansion is aham namaha karomi te. Aham karomi namaha te. I am doing namaskaram to you. So again, I can change out all the words and it'll still be the same sentence. But what's interesting in this sentence, do I have tasmai shri gurave aham namaha karoti gurave? We would have lost the meter by then. Why is it that we have condensed this all into one word? Because the emphasis and knowledge of the perspective of Vedanta is built into that. Gurave, the te in aham namaha karoti te, that te is replaced with gurave, to that guru. Karoti and aham are the two words that are removed from that sentence. Why? Because from the Vedantic standpoint, what do we do with the ego? Discard it and make it reduce to zero. That ego that expresses as, I am the one that is doing. Karta, I am the karta, karomi. That is also still the expression of the ego. When it comes to surrender, namaha, I am removing my ego and that sense of doership. Aham and karoti are also removed. What am I left with? Namaha gurave. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So Sanskritam is a beautiful language that instills in us the Vedantic knowledge, even in the way we speak it. Now, another last point here, Sanskrit and Samskara. Aren't they really close together? Samskara, what is that meant for us now? Samskara is the moments in our life where we become culturized, if that's a word I may use, that we become evolved. To be cultured means that I'm able to live above my animalistic tendencies. I won't just sit here and be, greedy about live, laugh, love? Is that a title of a movie somewhere? Yeah, sorry. Or eat, drink, and be merry. That's the other phrase that also comes, right? That whatever my mind thinks, whatever my instincts say, let me follow it. That's not being cultured. When do we respect someone as being someone cultured? When they're upstanding, when they're able to have control, when they're stable. They're not washed around by the instances of storms from within or storms from outside. They are stable. We call them as cultured. In the same way, Sanskritam, when we speak that language, that sense of evolution and raising the character to a higher level is done through that very language. This namaha becomes that first example. Look at how even the way I speak removes the ego. And if you've noticed any translation of Sanskritam into English, you have the hardest time. You need 4 or 5 words to describe that one thing because a whole meaning, a full sentence is inbuilt into one word. And on top of that, all of the English translations are in passive voice. How else are you supposed to describe a sentence that does not prioritize subject into a language that revolves around the subject? Therefore, passive voice is the only patchwork we have to be able to connect to this language. Which is why language becomes even more important for us to connect with the original format in which our knowledge is being given. So I guess since we had Hindi as our assembly stage presence, today's an excuse to advertise that. Please put your kids into some form of language that is not English, that is not European in nature. Put them into a Bharatiya language. Telugu, Hindi, even Sanskritam, and even yourself. Put yourself into a class to further your knowledge of it. Recently I went into the library. I've seen many Hindi books that are out there, and finally I found a Hindi to English translation. I'm like, I need this book, and I need this book, and I need to learn how to study this. Why? Because my Hindi is Bollywood Hindi. So it's not a very good Hindi. If I need to be samskarized, I need to learn the original language. So, please take this initiative for yourself and for your kids. I would say more importantly for yourself because your kids will be watching you. You can't force them into a language class. If you speak at home your original language and you maintain that samskaras will be transferred. And I've seen some tricks, especially with grandparents that are trying to speak to the grandkids. There's some trouble there as well. So the rule that they've made is, I will never speak to you in English. Fine, you struggle with English, you struggle with that language, but I will never speak in English or respond to you in English because the more you hear that language, the more you will improve. So you ask, how are you? Main theek hu. Respond in a Bharatiya language, and therefore that learning can continue. So again, that was my little detour into language itself because it becomes important when we start studying. So tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Now onto that Guru, I do Namaha. Last symbolism when it comes to Namaste. What do we do? What is the gesture we make when we say Namaste? Right? Somebody was, I think this was I don't know why, but in a yoga class. I've been to previous yoga class, so I kind of have an awareness of what goes on. At the very end, they're like, namaste, the light within me meets the light within you. And I'm like, bro. But they have all caught on, right? This namaste is there. And especially during COVID and the pandemic, everybody started doing it. Why? Because you can't do handshakes, you can't hug people, so this is a nice, respectful distance. So everybody started doing this. But is that the highest reason as to why we do it? For hygiene or for just cultural flavor? No. What is namaste about? If in science we've recently discovered, or it's been quite a while now, but you have two hemispheres in the brain, right? Right controls which side? Left. Left controls which side? Right. And in that junction of the hemisphere, there are intersections between the two. In child psychology, when they see the development of motor skills, the most important thing is that this synapse, this cross, happens well. Those that have trouble they can do right-handed activities on one side, but as soon as they have to do the same thing on this side, somehow they're not able to connect with it. There's a developmental issue that way as well. And you can kind of tell that in our culture, we have these things built in. When you get into serious trouble, like really bad trouble, and your parents have yelled at you, what's the last thing they ask you to do to gain forgiveness? Not from the person you made an error to, not even from your parents. Who do they ask you to ask forgiveness from? Bhagwan. Go to the puja room. Do pranams. Ask for forgiveness. And how are you supposed to ask? I'm sorry. What is this? Also a cross connection. This means that I am bringing my entire hemispheres, all aspect of myself, bringing it together in coordination and bowing down. When I am surrendering, there is no aham, there is no karoti, there is no ego there. That means that my mind is not distracted from any other standpoint. I take my left hemisphere and I take my right hemisphere and bring it directly in front, in alignment, centered upon you, Guru, and to you, that Guru, Shri Guru, I do namaste. So even this has a higher meaning behind why we have this gesture with the word namaste. So in this manner, may our attention and our bhava, sincerity and surrender come into alignment. May my ego be as low as possible without any interference between the flow of knowledge between me and my Guru. Therefore, I surrender. To that Shri Guru, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I surrender. Therefore, even if we don't know anything else in Guru Stotram, at least let's chant that last part really loud whenever we're in assembly. Shock the kids a little bit next time. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So with that in mind, I thought this would be a nice place to end in terms of getting started with Guru Stotram. In the next couple of classes as we come, we will start going into the verses and seeing the thought flow that are there. Okay? So with that, again, thank you again so much for your patience, and we shall see you next time. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.